Welcome. My name is Dustin Kerb. I will be acting as the SBCC designated hearing officer today, and we'll be conducting this hearing. I now call to order this hearing regarding WAC 51-54A, amendments to the 2021 International Fire Code to adopt changes within Chapter 12 and the provisions for energy storage systems. I would like to advise everyone that this hearing is being recorded and the audio file will become part of the official rulemaking file. For the record, this hearing is being held on August 30th, 2023, beginning at 10:03 a.m. at 1500 Jefferson Street, Olympia, Washington, with Zoom and teleconference options. The purpose of this hearing is to receive public comments on revisions to WAC 51-54A, amendments to the 2021 International Fire Code, and to adopt changes within Chapter 12 and the provisions for energy storage systems. This hearing is being conducted in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, RCW 42.30, and the Administrative Procedures Act, RCW 34.05. Legal notice of this hearing was filed with the Washington State Code Revisor on July 13th, 2023. The Washington State Register number for WAC 51-54A is WSR 23-15-046. Notice of this hearing was also posted on the SBCC website at sbcc.wa.gov. This hearing is being held to consider testimony on the proposed CR 102. At this time, I will briefly explain the proposed changes. Due to rapidly evolving technologies within the field of energy storage systems, these changes are necessary to address applications that are encountered in the field, but not addressed within Chapter 12 of the International Fire Code. Reference to NFPA 855 is appropriate, as there are items in Chapter 12 that are not fully covered in NFPA 855. By combining the use of both documents, maximum safety can be obtained. In addition, the code user will benefit from the annex note explanations in NFPA 855. On testimony, we will now hear oral testimony regarding the proposed changes. The hearing is scheduled from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If at 12, though, there are no persons wishing to give oral testimony remaining, the hearing will be adjourned. Written testimony will be accepted until 5 p.m. today, August 30th. For the record, please identify yourself and whom you represent, if any representation. Please speak clearly so we can get a good recording of your testimony in order to ensure that everyone has a chance to make comments in a timely manner. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes. We will now begin testimony, and currently we only have one testifier signed up, and that is Ken Brulette, and your time will start now.
Thank you, Dustin. Yes, I'm Ken Brulette with Seattle Fire Department. In the past few years, energy storage systems have gained global attention as a key enabling technology to facilitate the shift to renewable energy sources. And energy storage systems play a critical role in the transition, allowing for a variety of functions that provide much needed support to the aging electrical grid, as well as providing the ability to store abundant renewable energy. ESSs are not necessarily known as a stable technology, though. The term ESS encapsulates a tremendous range of technologies, from flywheels to flow batteries, and most of these will be unfamiliar to building officials, emergency service providers, planning departments, architects and engineers, and also fire departments. The 2018 International Fire Code started to address these systems with a new Chapter 12 titled Energy Systems, but it fell short with addressing some of the fast-moving technology, and many jurisdictions were looking for other standards or regulations that would assist them with providing guidance when these systems entered their jurisdictions. The IFC does reference other standards produced, and they can be used to assist the AHJ. The National Fire Protection Association did create NFPA 855, which is the standard for the installation of stationary energy storage systems. The standard was not referenced in the 2018 code, and therefore at that time I had requested an emergency rule change to the scoping section in Chapter 12 that indicated energy storage systems shall comply with NFPA 855. The State Building Code Council did approve the emergency rule to reference NFPA 855, and the rule referenced the latest published document, which is the 2023 edition of NFPA 855. The 2021 IFC did make major strides with updates to establishing criteria on commissioning decommissioning, testing, and maintenance requirements. Unfortunately, NFPA 855, the 2023 edition, had not been published during the development of the 2021 IFC, and therefore many important items were left out. While the Fire Code tag was working on the development of the 2021 IFC amendments, the 2024 IFC was being developed. And then after final approval, many items were brought forward for change that corrected items in the 2021 edition of the IFC and for the 2024 IFC. The 2024 IFC correlated items that had been developed in NFPA 855, the 2023 edition, which is what is being presented today for the off-cycle rule making process. This includes an additional correlation between the 2021 International Residential Code and the International Fire Code, which was lacking in the 2021 IFC and could have caused confusion. During the review process through the Fire Code tag and the BFP committee, I presented all of the 2024 IFC code change proposals that were approved for reference and reasoning. Some minor changes to the CR2 document presented, though, need to be addressed, and that's on page 9, following the section 1207.11.10. All the language after NFPA 70 needs to be removed. It appears that was actually added onto the document. The reference standards that are shown on page 10, no, they're fine to stay, but I think there was some crossover. I would like to address Scott Lang's written testimony from Honeywell International regarding the 2024 IFC changes in Chapter 11 that require any existing systems that were installed prior to the 2018 or 2021 IFC needed to provide a hazard mitigation analysis. And I did not propose this during the off-cycle rule process, but as he points out, this requirement is in the 2023 edition of NFPA 855, and therefore an AHJ could still use that reference standard to utilize this requirement without bringing forward the 2024 edition of Chapter 11. I thank you, Dustin, for your time and look forward to seeing this off-cycle rule move forward.
All right, thank you, Ken. So we have no further pre-signups for testimony. I see there's plenty of folks here in the room online. If there's anybody else who would prefer to make some testimony, could you please raise your hand and I will allow people to speak in the order in which the hands are raised. So at this time, I'm seeing no hands raised. I'm going to pause the recording of this hearing and we will remain online until noon today. And if folks want to log in and make testimony, we'll be here monitoring the participants list until that time. And I will stop the recording for now. All right, everybody, we do not have any more folks requesting testimony at this time. It is 12 p.m. We're going to conclude this hearing. So this hearing is being held to consider testimony on the currently filed proposals for WAC 5154A, the International Fire Code. All testimony presented at this hearing, along with all written comments received today, will be part of the official hearing record for this proposal. A final decision on adopting this rule proposal will be made on September 15th, 2023. On behalf of the SBCC, thank you for participating in this hearing. This hearing now stands adjourned at 12:01 p.m. Thanks again.